next guest is an award-winning artist, illustrator, and writer of books for children and adults who need those children to go to bed. His newest is this, I Am Very Busy, a nearly forgotten birthday book. Please welcome Oliver Jeffers. Thank you for being here.
So when I came in, somebody asked me to give you this. Well, to draw you first and then give you this.
Oh, well, look at that. There I am. And I see you have another drawing here as well. Oh, look at that. Guillermo.
Oh, wow.
I was only given about 30 seconds to do this.
Good job.
Guillermo, I didn't know your last name was Rodriguez.
Yeah. Yeah,
You have a last name?
I do, yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, thank you
good
very
job.
much.
Thank you.
That is
Can you
wonderful.
put that in your driver's license?
Yeah, sure.
I'm excited about this. You know, I'm a very big fan.
I know.
In fact, I went to go see you at a book signing you did, and my plan was to bring my kids, but then they had a birthday party to go to, and I was like, I'm gonna go by myself. So I went, my wife and I were the only adults there without children.
I'm glad you came.
It was great, I enjoyed it. And you know, your books, I have to say thank you for these books because there are a lot of children's books. We have hundreds of children's books at our house. And some of them are not so great, and some of them are just, you can't believe they even got made in the first place. But yours are just consistently so great. The illustrations, the stories themselves, it's really just, it's the kind of book I try to push the kids toward as they're picking out those books when we go to bed at night.
And you realize how little control you actually have.
I realize how little control I have.
But no, I have to say thank you, because you've been a big supporter for a long time. You've supported my work and liked comments and posted and boosted things. And, and it's been great.
Well, when I started writing and illustrating a children's book, I said, oh, now I really have to study your work because I wanted it to be good. And yours, I think, are the best. I think I think most people who have kids know this book, and this is written by Drew Daywalt, and you did the illustrations for this book, The Day the Crayons Quit. And this book is fantastic. If you have not read this book, this is a really, really good one.
Yeah. It doesn't like a good protest book.
It's a great protest. It's just so clever. It's unbelievably clever. And then I started buying all of your books, and first I got the whole catalog, and then I buy them as they come out. You may be familiar with this one. Here we are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth.
It explains how to be a human being on Earth in the 21st century.
Yeah.
32 pages.
We should send this one to... It does, and it does a pretty good job of it in 32 pages. This one, explain the story behind Stuck, because this is really funny, I think.
It's a true story.
It's a true story.
It's a true story, up to a point. Then I started exaggerating.
Yes.
It's about a kite that gets stuck in a tree, and then the small protagonist in question, he begins to throw increasingly larger objects into the tree to get it loose, and forgets about the original problem.
And you can see that there are a lot of things in the tree by the end of the book. Now, you say it's based on a true story. Whose true story is it based on?
Well, it's my true story. I rented a house with my wife and some friends, ironically, to try and come up with a book idea to get away from the craziness of New York. And pure Charlie Brown style, we borrowed this very expensive-looking kite from the house, and it got stuck in a tree. I was like, there goes the insurance money. And spent the rest of the couple of days trying to get it loose and, give up after throwing a chair and nearly smashing the windscreen of the car. But then got back to New York, and my friend asked, well, how was your trip? And I was like, wait till you hear what happened. I was like, oh, this is the beginning of a book idea.
Does that happen to you a lot, where you have that inspiration?
Do you know, I don't really know. It comes and it goes. It's all over the place. Sometimes there's books that just come fully formed, like The Fate of Fausto was one of those, or The Incredible Book Eating Boy. And then sometimes you get...
The Incredible Book Eating Boy is great. Yeah. It's so good. There's even a bite out of the corner of the book, which is delightful.
I do tell kids that's my dental records.
Yeah. This one's fun, too. There's a ghost in the house, because there's a ghost as you go through the whole thing. This is a good one for Halloween. Yeah. You started as an illustrator. Did you intend to write these books yourself?
Well, actually, I started as an artist. I always knew that I wanted to make paintings, and it was only whenever I had an idea for a painting that I thought, well, this is part of a story, that I took that one painting and sort of extrapolated it out over multiple paintings, and that became my first book. Then I went into commercial illustration as a way to try and make money.
Right.
nobody was buying paintings back then, and thinking that you'll make a living out of selling kids' books was a dream too big to imagine.
I bought some of your paintings from your website. They're hanging in my home right now, as a matter of fact.
Did you really?
Yes. I mean, what could be a
Okay.
better compliment than that?
Wow.
I think I have a couple of your paintings right here to show. This is
wow.
this one's called Lost at Tree, which is a...
This is a collaboration, so I would sometimes find it's amazing what people throw away in the streets of New York. They call it free cycling, and so I would take these old landscape paintings and then add in normally the first thing that I would think of. And after doing about a dozen of them, I was like, oh, I'm doing disaster paintings in all of these.
And this one's called Lost at Stream.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Again, the Titanic.
so somebody painted this beautiful landscape,
Yeah.
and then little did they know that however many years later, you're painting right on top of it.
Yeah. It looked like the background for something. But so I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland, and the Titanic was made there. And we celebrated the centenary of it sinking, not the centenary of it being built.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Is there civic pride, the fact that the Titanic was built there?
oh yeah, there
Feels
really,
like it should be
really
the
was.
opposite of that.
Well,
you
there
know?
really was. It was what I grew up hearing, built by Irishmen, sunk by an Englishman.
How old are your children?
They're 7 and 10.
Do they appreciate your work? Are they excited when you come out with a new book?
Well, I tried to read them the new book. I'm very busy. The night before it came out, they didn't have a lot of interest, to be honest.
They didn't, huh?
They did not really have a lot of interest. Actually, my daughter came home from school one day and she was like, Daddy, did you have something to do with a book about crayons? I was like, yeah. Have I never read that to you? And she said, no. And so, it goes both ways. It doesn't always occur to me to read them my books, but they're not always that interested until their friends are around. And then it's bragging rights.
And then it's a big deal,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't test the books out on them to
I
see if
try
they like
to.
you.
But
Try
can
to.
I get their attention for 15 seconds? Sometimes, but not always.
Are they drawing now?
Do you know, they are drawing. And I never wanted to force that upon them because it's something that I love so much. And I thought if I try to make them do what I love, they'll end up hating it. So I just I got to go down to the studio and make some art. And then they invariably want to come down. And then I end up just chaperoning their art project, which I'm really happy to do.
You gave this great presentation at the book signing you did, and you talked about how all kids are artists.
Yeah.
They're all artists.
Yeah. Well, when people ask me when I started making art, I ask them when they stopped. Because if you think about that, it's like every kid picks up a crayon, and at some point we just become self-aware. We sort of are worried too much about what other people think of us and the practicalities and realities, and we lose the wonder and the magic. And I've just, I suppose, been able to keep that alive somehow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and what a thing! You got to this thing that you loved, that you've been doing since you probably were able to hold a pencil.
And not always well. In fact, my son, I have an exhibition in Boston at the minute of these dip portraits. And so I paint the portrait really well. And then it's a whole other project where I dip it in paint in front of a small audience. But I was showing him the paintings. He was like, who painted those, the paintings underneath? And I was like, I did. He was like, you can paint that well? He's like, I thought you could only do stick figures.
You said you have an installation in Brooklyn right now.
In the Brooklyn Museum, yeah.
In the Brooklyn
And that's-
Museum.
So I've got a lot of different interests, and there's a quote that I keep going back to. Frederick Douglass, who was an emancipated slave, he said, "It's easier to build strong children than repair broken men," and that's something I think about a lot. And we have a statue to Frederick Douglass in Belfast because he went there to learn how to orate. Yes. So he went to Ireland before it was, divided into two, and that's where he learned how to publicly speak. But with that mindset, it was like, I think you can. Every person who arrives on Earth, every newborn is a fresh arrival that doesn't know how it works, and they've got to be told how it works, and that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to get to them before the cruelties and the evils of the world do. And so there's a lot of these books touching things like that, but then that follows into the fine art world. And so yes, in the Brooklyn Museum, there's an exhibition called Life at Sea. And it is a participatory exhibition where families get to come in and they get to add, decorate a little fish and add it into an otherwise barren ocean in this sort of reverse of what's actually occurring. And by the end of the run, we're hoping that it's absolutely abundant with life. And because
clever.
You gotta imagine the future you want before you can start to build it. And this is how that goes.
You have a show coming up in Belfast as well?
Yes. the show coming up in Belfast is these disaster paintings.
Nice.
Because, you know, I've been doing them for about, 15 years, and you would find things, and then I would have historically used it as like a mental break. I'm thinking about these big problems, and I just want to, I don't know, entertain myself for a minute. So I would take one of these things that I'd found, and I would paint literally the first thing that I thought of into it. And as I say, yeah, they turned out to all be either sinking ships
Well,
or burning planes or...
I love everything you do, and a disaster, no disaster, whatever it is. The new book is called I Am Very Busy, a nearly forgotten birthday book. It's available now. Oliver Jeffers, everybody. Thank you, Oliver. We'll be back with Haim.